Americans' tipping habits have changed according to a new survey from creditcards.com. People are tipping less compared to pre-pandemic levels. Yahoo Finance's Brooke DiPalma here with the details. Brooke?
That's right. Americans are actually tipping less than compared to pre-pandemic levels. Now, when you take a look, though, at 2020 and 2021, it turns out that more than 1/3 of Americans pledged that they'd actually be better tippers. But now, of course, as inflation takes really front seat here for American households, it turns out that Americans are, in fact, tipping less and that sentiment is ultimately gone. So when you look at the number of Americans who say that they will always tip, at sit-down restaurants, it's 73% in 2022, food delivery, 57%, taxis and ride shares like Uber and Lyft, 43% of Americans say they will always tip. So food delivery and taxi and ride shares, that's the largest drop compared to 2019. Coffee shops, it now sits at 22% of Americans say they will always tip. But when you take a look at some other service industry businesses, it's actually the same and or higher. So at hotel housekeepers, it's the same. We're seeing so many Americans eager to travel once again. And then hairstylists. Apparently, we all missed our hairstylists during that early months of the pandemic. People actually are more inclined to always tip at 66%. Now, this is really a combination of both inflation as well as a short staff. So when you really think about it, inflation taking a front seat here for so many American households, it's taking a toll on their purchasing power. That's according to creditcards.com analysts. But in addition to that, people or staff members, rather, are mostly unlikely able to provide those top-notch experiences that we maybe were able to see back in 2019 when there was more people on the staff, there was a larger crew looking to help out. And so really now, Americans are taking that all into consideration when they're leaving that tip.
I feel like there's more incentive to tip, right? When you've got a server, for example, at a restaurant that's short-staffed, but
they're doing more.
Well, they're doing more, but that number that we just saw, I mean, does that mean some people are not tipping at all?
So that's actually funny you say that. So when you take a look at different generations, we're actually seeing that 40% of Gen Z and millennials are leaving nothing at all. That's a combined 43% of Gen Z and millennials. But when you take a larger look at those generations, you can see here, turns out that boomers are tipping the least amount. So this is a percentage of a bill that you're seeing. So Gen Z, of course, the youngest generation here, they're leaving an average of 26% tip. Of course, that's on the higher end of the range. Millennials leaving 24%, Gen X leaving 20%, boomers leaving 19%. I'd say on average, people typically, when I think of leaving a tip, between that 15 to 25% range. So Gen Z certainly looking higher, but as we just noted, 43% combined of Gen Z and millennials, sometimes considering leaving nothing at all. And it also depends on gender, Kiko and Brian. Apparently, we all tip a little different. When it comes to gender, men on average are leaving a 22% tip, whereas women are leaving 20%.
I feel like women tip more with like stylists or
right. That might be
you have a
different
relationship with them. It's not just a random barista or a coffee. But at the same time, there's a go-to coffee person for a lot of Americans out there. But with inflation and those other, nuances in American households just costing more, people are maybe less generous when it comes to that extra money. Also, we've seen many restaurants implement those additional fees in recent months as food and labor costs are higher. So people see those fees and they might be leaving more, leaving less, that is.
Yahoo Finance's Brooke DiPalma, thanks so much for the breakdown. That does it for us here on the 11 a.m. We will see you same time, same place tomorrow. Have a good one.